Hello, seventh graders! Welcome back to another super awesome, wonderful day of math. For today's math lesson, math activity, we are going to practice how to find the area of a circle. You practiced this week how to find the circumference of a circle. What does circumference mean? What is that vocab word? Hey, nice. Yes, circumference is the space around the outside of a circle. Circumference around circles around the outside of the circle. Kind of like perimeter. Circumference and perimeter are kind of the same. What is area? So we know what circumference means, but what do you think? What does the word area mean? Nice job. The word circumference means around the outside. How much space, how much distance, how long is the outside of the shape? The area of a shape is how much space is inside. Not doing a good job coloring inside those lines, but the area is how much space is inside. So circumference of the circle is the outside, like the fence. The area of the circle is the space inside, like the fields where all the cows and the horses run around and play. Area, circumference. You know what the circumference formula is. Or do you? Hold on. What is the circumference formula? How do you find circumference? How do you find the circumference of a circle? Go, drop it in the chat. How do you find it? Even from the past, I could totally see all those awesome things you put in the chat. Yes, to find the circumference of a circle, you multiply the radius by 2, and then you multiply it by pi, or 3.14. That's how you find the circumference. Wait, hold on. Mr. Bertram, what is a radius again? Oh, that is an excellent question indeed. The radius is the distance from the center of the circle to the edge. That's the radius. All the way across a circle. Do you remember what that's called? What's all the way across a circle? Yep, that's diameter. Radius is halfway across the circle. Diameter is all the way across the circle. If you get cut all the way in half, you will die. Diameter, you will die if you get cut all the way in half. Radius is like there's a bone in your arm called the radius, I think is what you call it. But it's just half of your arm. I don't know if that helps you remember. That helps me remember. Radius is halfway, diameter is all the way. So you multiply the radius by 2 and then by pi to find the circumference. To find the area of a circle, we use a very similar formula. I do not expect you to memorize this formula. Wait, really? Doesn't want us to memorize the formula? No. Oh, the state of Florida doesn't even want you to memorize this formula. Wait, then how am I supposed to use it on my homework if I don't have it memorized? You lucky duck. Excuse me. You have the 7th grade reference sheet. The 7th grade, the grade 7 reference sheet. On that reference sheet, on the second page, you have all the formulas you could ever need right there. You do not have to remember this. All you have to remember is where to find these, which is where? Yep, the grade 7 reference sheet. Okay, so back to business. The formula to find the area of a circle is very similar. It uses the radius, it uses pi, and it uses a 2, but in a different way. To find the area of a circle, we take the radius, we do not multiply it by 2, but we raise it to the power of 2, and then we multiply it by pi. This exponent means that there are 2 r's being multiplied together. Radius times radius. Radius to the power of 2, a number to the power of 2, means that there are 2 radiuses, 2 of that number being multiplied, not being added. No, not being added. That's what this is. 2 times radius. That's the same as radius plus radius, or just the diameter, times pi. Okay. An exponent does not mean plusing. Exponents are timesing. Radius times radius. This is radius plus radius. Radius times radius. Okay. Now let's do an example together. Let's do an example. Let's say the radius of this circle is 3. So let's write 3. If the radius is 3, now easy peasy pop quiz. What's the diameter? If the radius is 3, what's the diameter? 3, 2, 1, go. Nice. Yep, absolutely right. I knew you'd get it. It is 6. Okay. What is the circumference of this circle? In exact terms. Well, no, not in exact terms. In approximate terms. What is the circumference of the circle? So you will multiply all these together. So let's whip out our formula. 2 times the radius times pi. Our radius is 3. 2 times 3 times pi, so 6 times pi. 6 times pi is 6 times pi button equals 18.8 is where we'll stop, rounding to the nearest tenth. 18.8 is the circumference. Now, before we find the area, I want you to make a guess, make an estimate. Do you think the area will be bigger or smaller than the circumference? What do you think? Make a commitment. Drop your guess in the chat. Do you think it'll be bigger? Do you think the area will be bigger or smaller than the circumference? What's bigger? How long the outside of something is? Or the space inside? Think about your house. What's bigger, the fence that goes around your yard, or the fence that goes around the yard, or the yard itself? Okay, let's see. So, let's find the area now. To find the area of a circle, we need our formula, which is radius to the power of 2 times pi, or radius times pi. Our radius is 3, so let's erase those letters and replace them with the numbers. So 3 times pi, 3 times 3 is not 6. That's 3 plus 3. 3 plus 3, or 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. And 9 times pi, rounded to the nearest tenth. 9 times pi button is 28 points. When we round to the nearest tenth, we look at the hundredth. The 7th, the 7 is in the hundredths place. The 7 will tell the 2 to round up to a 3, making the 7 and every number after it disappear. So our answer is 28.3. Yep, look at that. It is bigger. The circumference of the circle is 18.8. The area of the circle is 28.3. The area will always be bigger than the circumference. These formulas are very similar and also still very different. They get you very different answers. Very different answers. But both have an r, both have a 2, and both have the pi. Just one is 2 times radius, or the diameter, times pi, and the other is radius squared times pi, or radius times times pi. Now, we've practiced, we've learned. Let's get ready for our activity. For today's math activity, you, with your super awesome, wonderful self, are going to play Gimkit together. This Gimkit is going to have questions about the circumference of the circle and the area of the circle. So you'll get a chance to continue to practice finding the circumference while you're practicing this new skill of finding the area of a circle. And then after the Gimkit's done, you'll get a chance to get started on the homework and have a chance to have no homework over the weekend. That would be awesome. Okay, good luck. Good luck in the Gimkit. I can't wait to hear about how it went next week. And goodbye. See you later. Have fun. Bye, 7th grade.